Hey everybody, welcome back to the VIP Financial Education YouTube channel. We're here to help you make smarter financial decisions so that you can achieve financial freedom. Now, in today's video, we're going to be tackling a topic that affects nearly everybody, and that's debt. We're going to discuss the truth behind debt, why it's so important to stop borrowing money for stuff that doesn't contribute positively to your financial future, and how to understand the difference between good debt and bad debt. We heard those terms a lot over the past decade. What does it mean? Now, debt can be one of the most powerful tools available to you if it's used correctly. In fact, I borrowed about $350,000 for the equipment that is surrounding me here, but it's also one of the biggest traps that holds people back from achieving financial independence. And whether it's credit card balances or personal loans or financing things like vacations or vehicles, borrowing money for the wrong purchases can leave you financially crippled, and it can leave you drowning in interest payments and unable to build real wealth. Now, today, we're going to break down the benefits of leverage, how debt can be used to grow wealth. We're going to talk about the dangers of debt when it's used for the wrong reasons, and the real costs of borrowing. We're also going to talk about why you need to simply stop borrowing money for anything that doesn't make you money and doesn't build your financial future, and how we can get on the right track. So, the truth about debt, good debt, bad debt, what are the differences? Well, let's start by addressing one important fact. Not all debt is bad. Debt, when used strategically, can actually help you grow wealth, and it can help you build your financial future. And this is where the concept of good debt versus bad debt comes into play. The business that I own is making about $1.5 million this year, about $125,000 per month right now. That's up 10 times before we financed the equipment you see behind me that costs about $9,000 per month in payments. But it's at 0%, guys. So that would be an example of good debt. Good debt is debt that helps you build wealth, or it helps you improve your financial future. Real estate is another example of that, but real estate investments, not your primary residence. Your primary residence isn't making you money. Yes, it might improve in value over time, but it does not help you in the short term, and it certainly won't help your cash flow. Business loans that allow you to expand for growth and growing an income stream is certainly considered good debt. Sometimes student loans can be a good debt, and that's if it's leading to a higher earning potential for you. Debt that's used to participate in income generating assets like stocks or other investments. In these cases, debt can be a tool or a form of leverage that can help you acquire assets or opportunities that grow in value or increase your income. Now, bad debt, on the other hand, is debt that's used to buy crap that simply loses value or doesn't contribute towards wealth building or income streams. And examples of that include, of course, credit card debts. And that's when they're being used to purchase consumer goods like clothing or electronics, maybe vacation time, maybe auto loans for your personal cars. Those rapidly decrease in value, of course, or personal loans for non-essential purchases like home decor or luxury items or impulse purchases. Now, bad debt often comes with high interest rates, and it's used for things that don't appreciate in value or they don't generate income. And these purchases don't contribute positively towards your financial future. Instead, they actually drag you down, and it makes it a lot harder to escape the cycle of debt. Now, let's talk about the benefits of leverage when you're using debt wisely. If you're using debt or leverage wisely, it can actually become one of the most powerful tools to building wealth that you can have. Leveraging simply means borrowing money to invest or make purchases that will ideally generate a return that's greater than the cost of borrowing. It's very simple. For example, let's say that you use leverage to buy an investment property, you put 20% down, you end up borrowing the other 80%, and over time that property ends up appreciating. Your tenants are covering your mortgage through their rents, and eventually you own the property outright, potentially earning you both cash flow and equity growth. And that's why leverage can be beneficial. It amplifies returns. With a smaller initial investment, you can actually control a much larger asset and potentially earn a higher return on that investment ROI. I mean, in this case, these machines that you see here, had we saved the money simply making about $13,000 to $20,000 per month like we were a year or 18 months ago without them, it would have taken us a lot longer after all of our expenses for the month to save enough money to spend $350,000 on some of this heavier equipment. Whereas instead, being able to get into these machines with no money down at 0% interest and spread those payments out over the course of 3 or 4 years through one of the great offers that Kubota is extending to people, we were able to almost instantaneously increase our earnings to that 10x point of $125,000 to $150,000 months now, and we're able to pay those debts down rapidly. Even though we borrowed $350,000 for these machines, we now owe under $150,000 for them, and we're able to attack any other balances or major purchases that we want to make for the business. In fact, we just spent $150,000 last month on a really cool blue light lining tool where we can go in and actually line with a coating, this resin, the inside of drains, extending their lifespan by decades. And it gives our customers a much less expensive option versus going in there and using one of these to dig up their backyards or ruin their gardens. So this is the type of investments that we're able to make, having used leverage to our advantage. However, leverage only works when you're borrowing money for assets that go up in value or that generate that income. Because if you're using leverage for the wrong purposes, it's going to become one of the most dangerous things that you can use. No different than if you use a chainsaw incorrectly or any other type of tool. It's just that similar. Now, while leverage can help you grow wealth, using debt for the wrong purchases really can devastate you. And I want to look at some of the reasons why borrowing money for non-essential purchases or things that do depreciate in value can harm your financial health. The first is high interest payments. Those are going to eat into your wealth very quickly, and they'll usually really outpace any other investments you can make. I mean, credit cards are the prime example. Personal loans do have higher interest rates as well, and they can carry interest rates between even 15 to 25% or more, depending on your credit score. And over time, this is going to mean that you're paying far more than the original purchase price for whatever it is that you're financing, sometimes even double or triple what you would have spent for the exact same thing because the interest is now factored in. And those payments are going to eat into your disposable or income or your cash flow, and it's going to make it harder and harder to invest. For example, let's say you bought a $2,000 TV and you used a credit card, and let's say that the credit card was a 20% interest rate, which is actually pretty good right now. With the minimum payments, you're going to end up spending $3,000 or more for that same TV. That's $1,000 in lost money, and that's money that could have been used to invest with, to save, even just to have as an emergency fund. And that would also qualify as a depreciating asset, and that's losing value. TVs are almost worthless just a short time later, guys. When you borrow money to buy things like cars, clothing, gadgets, I love gadgets. I'm actually a huge addict to gadgets. You're going to be spending money on depreciating assets. And these are items that are not going to be worth what they were when you bought them in the first place. A car, when you drive it off the lot, the moment you drive it away, it is losing a lot of value. So that means that you're going to be paying interest on something that's not even worth what it was when you borrowed in the first place. Instead of building wealth, you're going to be digging a deeper and deeper hole by paying for something that's losing value daily. And here's the third thing. Carrying large amounts of consumer-based debts can quickly lead to financial instability. When you borrow for things that don't contribute towards your financial future, you're actually tying up future income. Debt payments reduce your ability to use that income for your investing reasons or even enjoying life. Creating this stress for yourself that carrying debt can lead to, it's going to create this anxiety or worrying, and it's going to make the payments that much tougher and tougher. It'll make you stressed at work, and it's this very dangerous cycle. So the thing is, it's going to limit your opportunities in the future. You want to take advantage of as many opportunities as possible. So this is the time to tighten things up as much as you possibly can. Start looking for ways that you can avoid debt from growing. It ends up snowballing so quickly, and it's one of the hidden dangers of debt is that many people start with just a little bit of credit card debt and they think they'll be able to pay it off soon, but you only end up making those minimum payments, and then you continue to borrow and the interest continues to compound, and then the debt quickly grows. And before you know it, you're caught in this spiral using more credit to cover living expenses and paying these higher interest rates, and then you struggle to make any real progress on paying down the balances. It's important to grasp the true cost when you're borrowing money for non-essential purchases. When you borrow money for vacations or consumer purchases or luxury items especially, you're not just paying the sticker price, you're paying interest, and you're often going to be paying it for years to come. So let's take a real world example. Imagine that you took out a $5,000 personal loan in order to go on vacation. The interest rate is say 12% and the loan term is say 5 years. Over the life of that loan, you're going to actually end up paying $1,600 in interest, which is going to bring the total cost of that vacation to $6,800. That's $1,600 extra that you've spent on this temporary experience. Money that could have been growing in an investment account, earning you more wealth in the future. The real cost of borrowing for non-essential items isn't just the interest, it's also the opportunity cost of what that money could have been doing for you if it had been invested or saved. If you want to achieve financial independence and if you want to build long-term wealth, you need to stop borrowing frickin' money for things that don't contribute positively to your financial future. Debt is going to keep you stuck in the past. When you borrow money, you are committing future earnings to pay for past purchases. And that's going to keep you stuck, always working to pay off something that already has been used or consumed. You're going to lose flexibility. You're not going to be able to take advantage of the investment opportunities or even enjoy life without financial stress. And the problem with debt is that it constantly compounds against you. While investing can compound your wealth, debt compounds against you, and the longer you carry debt, the more interest you pay and the harder it is to escape, and the more opportunity cost you actually spend. So debt isn't inherently bad, it's a tool. I love leverage, but I hate debt. So like any tool, guys, it needs to be used correctly. It needs to be used cautiously. When you borrow money to invest in things that build wealth, businesses, real estate, education, you can get ahead. If you borrow money for things that don't add value or they go down in value, you're putting yourself on a path to financial stress and instability. If you're carrying bad debt right now, make it a priority to pay it down, pay it off as quickly as possible. Avoid borrowing for non-essential purchases in the future. Don't put any more money on debt, and only use debt when it's contributing to the long-term financial growth. And if you want to learn more about managing your cash flow or paying off debt, making smarter financial decisions, don't forget to check out our free Cash Flow Cruncher tool. You can get it at cashflowcruncher.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel here, folks. We talk a lot about debt, and I'll put a playlist down there below where we actually dive into the exact how-tos, some of my favorite ways to attack and eliminate debt in a fraction of the time, saving oftentimes tens of thousands, if not even hundreds of thousands of dollars in future interest costs, especially if you're attacking and eliminating your mortgage balance as well. Imagine not owing anything on a home, owning it free and clear, not owing anything on your vehicles, not owing anything on your toys, not owing anything on your household items, being able to purchase things when you'd like to, having the funds to do it. And what I've found as I've built wealth is over time, I actually like doing those things less and less because I've become more and more infatuated, addicted to, obsessed with the idea of being able to continue to grow that wealth for my future self. And my future self will thank me, just like my present self thanks my past self for the decisions that I made then in order to put me in a position where I am now, where I can do what I want. I can do it when I want. I can do it from wherever I'd like, and I can stay in that place as long as I'd like to. And everything that I choose to get involved with is essentially run remotely. I run all my businesses remotely, and guess what? I choose to stay home as often as possible. I got a lot of traveling out of my system the last few years, and now I am a complete homebody. I really literally never leave my house unless I absolutely have to. So I find that as I continue to develop wealth and freedom of choice, my choice is to be exactly where I am. And that's an amazing feeling. I want that for absolutely everybody. I'm not trying to create this supplement for my mental health and happiness by going out and spending money on things that I don't have to. And absolutely everything that I own outside of this business and still my one mortgage is completely paid for. And I don't have any other debts at all. And that's a really, really freeing feeling. So make sure you check out that playlist so that you can see how you can accomplish that exact same goal. And guys, I'm going to be here for you. If you have any questions, certainly reach out. Download the Cash Flow Cruncher. Like I said, it's completely free, no strings attached. And if you'd like a free coaching session, you can go on the website and book one of those too. I am still offering those from time to time. I have a lot less availability to do it, but I am still getting on the phone with you guys once or twice a week and offering you guys a little bit of assistance. Again, there's no hard sell there. It doesn't cost you anything. This isn't a gimmick. I just do it because I love it. So until I see you on the next video, folks, thanks again for checking me out. Subscribe to the channel. And until then, make it a great day today. And most importantly, keep on cash flowing.